In business tonight, in a bid to pacify Kenyans' anger, the government has in the recent past extended expensive concessions to avert uprisings. Whether genuine or not, NTV has noticed a trend of intentional interventions to keep the cost of living down. NTV's Brian George Otieno now explains just how sustainable these concessions are.
Tensions in the Middle East have resumed after America announced an end to its ceasefire on Iran. Consequently, the Strait of Hormuz, a key transport corridor for oil serving a larger part of the global south's imports, is again experiencing shocks. Ordinarily, the government would have increased the retail prices for fuel due to these shocks. In the recent July 14th pump pricing cycle, the status quo remained. Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi says the fuel prices will remain unchanged given the government-to-government arrangement for fuel importation, albeit at a steep cost. At the center of it is foregoing an 8% value-added tax on fuel until October.
Further, in the July-August 2026 pricing cycle, the government will deploy a subsidy from the Petroleum Development Levy to the tune of Kenya shillings 945 million to sustain the current price levels.
On April 15th, the government increased the cost of fuel significantly at the height of the Iran war. The Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, at the time announced a record jump, with diesel increasing by 40.30 shillings to 206.84 shillings and petrol rising by 28 shillings and 69 cents to 206 shillings and 97 cents in Nairobi. Keen to note that at the time, the G2G arrangement was in full effect. Recent costly interventions have pointed towards government's intentional cushioning of Kenyans' cost of living by containing key inflation drivers, retaining the cost of energy for both fuel and power, taming the central bank lending rates, and avoiding introduction of new taxes in the Finance Act 2026. For instance, the Energy Act dictates that tariff structures and base prices are typically reviewed every 3 years. Since a tariff review was due this year, power distributor Kenya Power submitted a proposal review, but later government officially withdrew Kenya Power's retail electricity tariff review application on June 3rd, 2026, effectively halting a proposed base tariff increase of up to 31.8% that was slated to take effect from July. So, consumers continue to buy electricity under the previous tariff structure.
To cushion businesses and in extension households, the government, as we'll recall, suspended the proposed electricity tariff review. In addition, in this cycle of June 2026, electricity costs have reduced by some Kenya shillings 0.2685 per kilowatt hour. This reduction is driven by a significant drop in the forex adjustment component.
I think, yes, they should reduce the price of fuel, because currently that is really affecting most of the kawaida mwananchi, most of the business people. Yeah, and about the electricity, they should also check on that, because of course, they should really check on that.
On 10th June, the Monetary Policy Committee retained its benchmark central bank rate, CBR, at 8.75%. By keeping the base lending rate unchanged, policymakers aim to balance economic growth with price stability, shielding borrowers from expensive loans amidst temporary global fuel-driven inflation. The CBK's MPC noted that inflation is still hovering within government's target range of 2.5% to 7.5%. The Kenya Bankers Association had recommended a mild upward review of the rate. Average lending rates for local businesses and individuals remained relatively stable at around 14.5% rather than spiking, meaning Kenyans are insulated temporarily from expensive loans.
Whether or not Kenyans are winning in these concessions extended by the government has been keen to reiterate that they are averting any anger, anguish, or Kenyans' rage with these price reductions. Brian George Otieno, NTV, Nairobi.